Hey, it's Ryan from Upfit Supply, and in this video we're going to be installing a StabiliGrip floor in our RAM ProMaster. Let's get into it. Alright, this installation is going to be on a ProMaster with a 159-inch regular wheelbase. The installation is going to be relatively similar for the other wheelbases, but it is a different product, so if you're looking at purchasing this, make sure you know the wheelbase length of your van to make sure that you're installing the right floor and getting the right floor on your van. And as always, this video does not replace the manufacturer provided installation instructions, so make sure you reference those when installing this product. So just a brief overview of how this installation is going to work. First, you're going to remove all the OEM materials, so your OEM D-rings, any trim that's in the way. For us, we had a floor from the factory in here, so we had to rip this out. There's still some glue remnants on the bottom. Then we're actually going to take the three pieces, because this is a three-piece kit, install a front one, do a rail, middle one, rail, and then rear, and then reinstall our D-rings. Now this is a floating floor, meaning we are not gluing it to the bottom of the van here like the factory floor is. It's going to be floating on top of it. It is a composite or plastic style floor, so there is a little bit of expansion contraction with it with the change in weather and things like that, so we want to make sure that we leave it floating. You'll also notice that we do have our Legend wheel well covers installed. If you plan on doing those with this installation, you want to make sure that you have those in first because the floor sits over top of those, so make sure that you install those before moving on to the floor. So to start, we're going to start with piece A, or the front piece of the StabiliGrip. We're going to put that in place, put some glue on our rail, and then move on from there. So let's go get our first piece. Okay, so this is a nice tight fit. It is cut around these trim pieces right here. I know some of the floors you can get will go under it, or you have to trim it to fit. But for the StabiliGrip floor, it does trim around these plastic paneling, or plastic trim, if you will. Next, you're going to want to get your H channel, or your channel, I think is what it's called, and the glue that's provided as well. There are two of these channels, and one is a little bit longer than the other. The longer one is used on this front joint here, and the shorter one actually narrows in back here, so that's going to be used for our second joint towards the rear. So we're just going to take our glue. It does have to be cut open with a razor blade. Also looks like there is a little seal, needs to be removed. And we're going to put glue on both sides of the channel, forward side, rearward side, top and bottom. And we're going to do glue all the way up to 1 inch from the edges. I'll slide this in place on our front piece here. Now I'm just going to slide this forward into that H channel just real quick. Some of the floors have the new Legend badge right here at the side sliding door. That badge is on the forward side and obviously on the top of the floor. That makes it easy to figure out which side goes where. I'm just using a rubber mallet to lightly tap on this and get alignment of these two within the channel. Perfect. Okay, now same thing on this rear seam right here. We're going to do the same thing with our glue. Stay 1 inch from the top, the edges. Slide this over piece B. This piece is giving me a little bit of trouble getting in there, so again, taking my rubber mallet and just lightly tapping. Obviously, 2 hands are better than 1 with this. It's heavy. So I'm really trying to go for perfect alignment of this within the channel so it matches the other floor. So I'm actually just using a pull bar. Try and scoot this over like 1 millimeter. So now that we have all the pieces in the van, we actually want to take our D-rings and our M8 bolt, put those back in place. You want to make sure that you use the provided hardware to put your D-rings back in place rather than using those factory rings because they're not going to fit. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in there behind the wheel well. So let's put those in now. So just real quick, an orientation on here. You've got your provided M8 bolt and the washer. So like this, through the D-ring into the D-ring mounting location on the floor. Okay, now that we have these D-rings back in place, let's go ahead and get our side sills and install those. So it's pretty easy to tell these sills apart. The rear sill has this cutout in the back, so for the latch and all of that back here. So I'll set this in place and then start with our side door, get this assembled. So I'm going to use this D-ring here as my index, figure out where, you know, it's kind of equal distance from that D-ring around this little curve there. Make sure everything's nice and tight up against it. That just self-drills right into the floor. Looks like there's just 3 holes total. Don't need to go super hard on these, because we're just going into the floor. Move on to the back. Same thing on the side door here. I'm going to use the floor actually, to index this. Get it centered on there. Nice and flush up against here. And I'll start at the middle. Looks like we just have 3 holes back here too. There we go. Looks like we got 4 extra screws we can put in our screw pile. And that just about does it for the installation of the StabiliGrip floor in our RAM ProMaster. Now, if you did have any excess glue along these channels, you can go ahead and take a wet rag and wipe that off so you don't have that spreading around on your floor and all that. Now, if you're looking for this floor or liners or any other equipment to get your van ready for work, be sure to check us out at upfitsupply.com. Again, my name is Ryan, and have a good one.